What's up, everybody, and welcome to what I think is first ever off-season Swolecast. I can't ever remember us doing a Swolecast this early in the season, and we are year-round because why not? My name is David Kitchen. For those that are unfamiliar with the show, God bless you. You're in for a treat. We also have Davis Maddock on Twitter. You can find him at Davis Maddock. We have Peter Overzet. Peter Overzet, a.k.a. the Prop King, a.k.a. the least toxic person in eSports right now.
Could you also introduce me as the 44th/45th best eSports DFS player in the world?
Yes, I can. We'll do that later. And then we have Mr. 005, Dan Gaspar. Dan, tough scene for you because
tough scene.
Extremely tough.
You tweeted out about Davis's. Like, that was going to be the whole first part of the show. Was Davis 45 minutes before the show starts saying, "Hey, can you guys give me 20 minutes?" Just classic Maddock. You tweet out about it.
I ruined it.
And then your computer crashes on you.
We've been trying to put this show together for a month. We finally get a time, and David says, "Hey, can we just push it back a half hour?"
Well, that was after he says, "Yeah, I'm open all morning." Anytime works.
Classic Maddock. Where we are here, we are live for whatever reason. This show is live today, so if you have anything for us, tweet at us, use the YouTube chat. Peter, how comfortable do you feel about like monitoring the YouTube chat during this show?
Well, this is what I'll say, Dave. After monitoring the Pushup Challenge Twitch chat,
there's no way that this chat will be more toxic than the Pushup Challenge chat. I can guarantee it.
If you guys can just be like 1/100th less horny than that Twitch chat, we'll be in really good shape. So just...
That chat was, I didn't monitor it as much as you guys did, but that chat, my gosh.
I didn't even go in there, but I mean, quarantine season, it is.
People are horny.
It's rough on some folks, and we're just talking about esports here. Esports, football, quarantine life, 2020. Davis, let's start with you. How has quarantine life been any different than your normal life?
So there are two big things that are different for me. One, I can't go to my gym. So that means that when I want to get exercise, I got to go outside to do it. So I got to go on jogs. I got to do push-ups or sit-ups or whatever. I don't have one of these amazing home gym setups. So that means I can't play like online poker on my phone while I'm running. They don't have draft. They don't have draft best ball draft. So I can't do that while I'm working out. And so that I got to be honest, running outside is terrible. Running outside has got to be one of the 5 worst activities to do. It's horrible. And another big take is just it sucks to not be able to go to the grocery store whenever you want. Like that really does actually blow. I really hate that. But in terms of like, for my life is 90% the same compared to other people who are having to do quarantine life.
Have you tried to play poker on your phone while running outside?
No, I have slacked and run outside on my phone though.
You can burn this. You can burn the same amount of calories if you walk uphill as if you run.
I don't live in like a super hilly neighborhood, so yeah, that may be I'm not trying to stray too far away from my neighborhood because you never know what could be out there.
Is that one of the workout tips that the person who knocked you out of the Poker Open got? They told you they were going for a jog, and Kitchen's like, well, if you check out bullet number 5, you'd actually be better off just walking up a hill.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a whole routine that we're putting together. Also, just want to say there's a lot of people yesterday upset at the form of the push-ups of Mr. Jonathan Bales, and would never happen if you had the perfect push-up.
Can we talk Can we
Wow,
talk
look
about
at
this
those.
as a
I like it.
judge about people with the form stuff? It's
Yeah.
absurd to think that he didn't complete that in the spirit of the challenge.
Literally absurd. Like anyone who is complaining about the form, you're a massive nerd. You're a massive nerd and loser if you're complaining about the form.
Or bet way too much on the under.
I bet the under, and not like literally not even once did I think about complaining about the form. It just is not accurate as to what happened.
Well, let's set this up. Let's set this up because I'm sure some people that are big fans of Swolecast, they may have missed yesterday. I couldn't believe though how many people were like watching at a time. We had Mr. Jonathan Bales Football, Fantasy Labs co-founder. Somehow he started with Peter Jennings and push-ups with draft cheat 3,600. Then it basically devolved into
who runs better than Peter Jennings. By the way, can I just make this point that the whole conversation started out with Pete saying I can do 3,600 push-ups in 12 hours. It then turns into his friend doing 2,400. Pete doesn't have to do anything. Doesn't have to set up the live stream. Doesn't have to go to the apartment. Doesn't have to do anything, and he just profits because his friend is the best. You know, like
he took the over. Like it is. So the bet was 2,400 push-ups in 12 hours, and there were 3 judges: Mr. Dan Bach, who of course is of RotoGrinders fame, Mr. Chop, Head Chopper, such a nice guy for that name, Head Chopper. But Chop was the second judge, also of RotoGrinders fame. And then Peter Overzet of FF Comedy Hour fame. so
he's making that name known, though, on FanDuel with those FF Comedy Hour Pete, just taking down those tournaments.
Just amazing. And Peter, were you getting any like private messages?
You know what?
100%.
I got a handful of them. And just if people want to know how the sausage was getting made, we were in a Telegram chat with Bales and we were relaying anything. And the reason we didn't ding a ton is because we would let him know the second I'd be like, hey, you're coming out of this or coming into these sets and your knees are way too low to start it. If you do that again, we're dinging. And so he would correct in real time. And that's why we weren't just racking up massive penalties. And again, for the most part, his form was really, really good. We were giving him feedback in real time. And, you know, based on the agreement that Draft Cheating had made, those push-ups were in the spirit of the bet. He wasn't angle shooting. And to me, he completed the challenge fair and square.
Was there ever a time, Davis, as an underbetter, was there ever a time where you thought I might be winning this?
So there were 2 times where I thought the under looked like either the favored side or close to even money. The first time was, I believe, the break. I can't remember if it was the break he took at 2 hours or 3 hours, and then he came back. And I actually posted a screenshot of his face on my Twitter. Like, he looked like a man who had been through the ringer. Like, it looked like he was really, really struggling. So that was the first time where I thought so I made this wager on Monday, right? When it first got announced. And by Thursday, I was basically like, I just paid my bet as a pay-per-view to have a reason to watch this because I'm not going to win. There's just no way. There was too much good money on the over. And I just underestimated Bales to begin with. The other time where I thought the under was live was towards the end, I think at about 7 p.m. Eastern time. He took a break of, what would you say, Peter? Probably an hour and a half, maybe, or so. He left, he changed rooms, he took a shower, and he tweeted that he wanted to view the last 900 push-ups as like a separate challenge. He wanted to go like mentally reset. And I thought that at that point, he's probably really tired. He probably is just like, he's been on camera all day. These losers on the internet have just been like literally talking about his girlfriend all day. Like, he's got to be in a not great mental space. And I thought there was a chance that it would just be too much, but that only lasted for about 10 minutes. And then when he got back and started hammering them out, I was basically ready to pay up.
Tuttle, did you have action?
Man. No, I'm thankfully not that big of a degenerate where I had action on this, but I definitely thought the underbetters that were complaining about form. What did you think you were getting yourself into? You knew the judges and picked the judges
2,400 exact perfect floor to apex push-ups. Like, what idiots? Like,
I mean, DC even goes on Davis's podcast and says he's not going to be a form Nazi. And then 15 minutes in, starts complaining about form. And yeah, I mean, if you thought that, I don't know. I thought the form was true to the video that he posted, or close enough within the spirit of the bet, like you guys said. If you thought that they were going to have some professional judges judging, then the under would have been a lock. But
what are you saying? Are you saying I didn't do my job?
I think you guys should have got paid. Actually, I think you guys should have got some cut. Did you guys get a cut?
I keep refreshing my PayPal. Haven't seen anything from Johnny Bales coming through yet. So,
I've actually advocated that Draft Cheat deserves a cut too for streaming so much traffic. Yeah.
Yes. Well, Draft Cheats, he is like the promoter.
Yep.
This was a huge thing. Someone said over $1 million. I think Action Network said over $1 million were bet on this, and he gets nothing.
Obviously, that's not falsifiable, and that's a big projection on these offshore books taking money on this.
Yeah, I mean that's a bullshit number, but
the other thing DC did so well is, even though it looked like a lock pretty early on, DC just kept keeping people's hopes up. Going back and forth. It's like when you're watching, Monday Night Football, the announcers never want to say it's a blowout. There's no chance they can come back. They don't want people changing the channel. DC was the guy being like, no, you can't change the channel. We still might have a chance here.
Yeah, he earned money, and all that ended up is he lost a couple grand on it. And I think the Action Network should cut DC a check for a couple grand.
I'll tell you what, that's not happening.
You know what's even more interesting? I made this observation to Peter on the Takecast when he came on to talk about this. Probably no one has gotten better interactions on their tweets during quarantine than Draft Cheat. Guy is just hemorrhaging followers left and right. He's probably, since all of this started, he's probably lost about 1,000 Twitter followers, despite his tweets doing really well. So that's a quarantine observation tweet from someone who cares about such things.
It's an excellent Twitter account. Let's be real.
Hey, I want to talk about, Tuttle, you mentioned one thing about not being a big enough DGen to bet on the push-up thing. And there was this, I believe we were calling them the fun police. There's these guys out there that are splitting hairs about what we are and aren't allowed to bet on and what makes us a DGen or not. I don't see any difference between betting a golf outright and betting on a guy doing push-ups. I see no difference betting on little Korean boys playing video games and Tyreek Hill getting over 95 receiving yards. Like, what's the difference? Who's policing this stuff? It's all the exact same thing.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say that I'm a police in any sense. I wasn't nagging on people that were betting on it, but honestly, actually, I do think you could actually say that it was smarter to bet on this if you thought you actually had an angle to shoot than some of these other things.
The angle to shoot would just be that someone who is as calculated as Bales is not going to make a wager like this where he thinks he's a dog. Like, well, you know what I mean?
Once you knew Bales was going to have significant money on it, it was over. But if you thought that Bales was only going to take
$2,000 bet,
then I don't think he does it. I think he taps out.
The thing that was still there, I didn't bet on it, impartial judge. If I did, I was going to bet the under. I just thought there was so much unknown in that 1,800 to 2,400 range where he had never had his body at that, pushed it to those limits. He is a heavier guy. You just didn't know what kind of muscle fatigue would set in there. No one did. And so I just thought overconfidence on either side was kind of crazy, but it was completely polarized overconfidence. It was, there's no way, or it's an absolute smash. No one was like, yeah, it could go either way.
I
thought it could go either way.
I thought if I was going to bet on the under, I think I would have bet, and I've said this to some people, I would have bet under some extreme number at really good odds. So, under 1,000 at really good odds, because I thought if he got under or things didn't go as planned early on and he was way off pace early on, he would have just thrown in the towel. Not that was a a very likely scenario just because he's obviously the least tired then. But I thought if he got under pace or things weren't going as he had planned, that he could have tapped out at a really early number.
Hey, Overzet, make a pick in our Dynasty League also while we're here.
Am I up?
Yeah, you're up.
You can't be infusing this Swolecast with your personal Dynasty League. We haven't made it to the fantasy part of this yet.
Oh, we will. We'll talk
more
about this startup.
Who could do more push-ups, Davis or me, in a 12-hour period?
You, for sure. I had a surgery on my elbow 2 years ago. It's still like I can't really do them at all.
What do you guys think your individual line would be for the Bales challenge?
I mean, I have not done more than 10 push-ups consecutively since I had a surgery on my elbow. So I think very low for me. It's a very hard movement for me to do.
Before he completed it yesterday, I thought I would be like 1,500. As easily as he did it, I think I'd bump me up a little bit, but I still think I'd be at like 1,800.
I think you could do 2,000. I think you could do 2,000, although you are not near as mentally tough as Bales, I think.
Oh man,
that's what gets overlooked.
These backhanded.
The mental thing gets overlooked.
Yeah, because it just at any point it would just be very easy to be like,
screw this.
I did enough for people to respect. People are already talking about, I'm big, I'm strong. I had all these people paying attention to me. Like so let's say he taps out at 2,000. Is anyone on Twitter like saying like, oh, you're weak, you suck? Absolutely not. Even the overbetters would have been like, that was admirable, yada yada. He literally just did it because he is very, very mentally strong.
How much more of these props are we going to get before sports starts?
I hope a lot, because I tweeted this out, but I mean, that was the high point. That was the high point of quarantine, because it's all, I mean, what do you have to look forward to? You're not watching Belarusian soccer. You're probably not watching League of Legends. I mean, unless you are. Like, if you are, then you have something to look forward to. But if you're not, I mean, that was, and as far as like a community thing where everyone is tweeting about the same thing, watching the same thing, that was an island game. That was Monday Night Football, except instead of Monday Night Football for a week, that was Monday Night Football for like 3 months.
Well, there's this Timex one going on right now, right?
The basketball
I think
one?
that's more of like a poker thing, though. Like, I don't know how many DFS people know who Timex is.
Timex. People know who A. Jones is, at least for DFS.
True. Yeah.
Well,
I'm watching the live feed of his form right now. It's not great.
I know. I was watching there. It's really
it's very pushed.
He would have fit in well at the RG Basketball Open at the Super Bowl.
he's Canadian, so he's literally never played basketball before.
It's in an hour, right?
Yeah.
So when I was doing the DraftKings TV stuff, I flew to Canada to interview Jay Rayner, aka Beep I'm a Jeep. And I'm sitting at the table. He, like, part of it was having some of his friends interviewed, and I'm sitting at the table, and this guy's like, "Hi, I'm Mike," and I'm like, "Hey," it's like, "What do you do?" And he's like, "I play poker," and I'm like, "Cool." Like, what are you gonna do if that doesn't like work out? And he just like, he stopped and looked at me like, is this guy serious? And I had no clue it was Timex. So he was like,
what if like being like a multimillionaire doesn't work out for you?
Yeah, he's like made millions of dollars, and I asked him like, what is he gonna do if things like go south?
Who's this peasant?
Yeah, Dave was doing the full on soccer dad role. He's like, but you really should just maybe go to business school or something. This is a fallback.
You need something. Yeah, you need a fallback plan. I met Timex at one of the DraftKings events in Boston. And his mom was there too. Both very nice people.
I met him and fangirled really hard. It was not a particularly cool scene for me.
I actually didn't know his background when I met him, so I didn't know he was this big time figure. But he's very nice guy.
Same.
Well,
all right.
Well, back to Kitchen's point though, because it was last Thursday we had the RG Poker Open. Last night we had the Push-Up Challenge, and those like tentpole events carrying us through week to week. I think what we need to figure out, whether it's the next RG Poker or whatever next Thursday, we just should put that on the calendar as that's event day for all of the DFS.
Can we have like let's do a Swolecast thing. Let's figure out a Swolecast thing.
A Swolecast prop.
I'd like to do
I was just chatting about this with Drew and Mike, and we were trying to figure out just like a good bet to make amongst the three of us, and this would not make for good TV, but I think it's a good starting point to think about what might work, which would just be that there's some sort of multi-day challenge or multi-week challenge where every day you have to do a min 1 of run a mile, 100 push-ups, 200 sit-ups, and then if you don't do one of those on one day, you have to pay up. But that's horrible.
That's
TV.
Dumb, Davis.
Yeah.
That's dumb. For the purpose of this discussion, that is not a good take. I'm thinking like, what if we had like an all-day Mario Kart tournament, like 1,000 teams? I haven't even played Mario Kart in forever.
Oh,
but
if we did this on the Switch, I would dominate you guys.
Something that everyone could play. I don't have a Switch. Like, can you play on the?
I mean, how much would people enjoy a stream of me and Peter playing heads up poker for some indeterminate amount of money, and then the loser has to do some like dumb challenge, and we play on global poker and stream it?
Did you guys get your sweeps bucks paid out?
I didn't cash the tournament.
Oh wow!
Ouch.
Tough scene.
Imagine
I literally in
that
the
soft field
in the RG Poker Open. I believe that I played 3 hands. I just it was just one of those things where I got to the second break. I had I think like 17 big blinds left, and I jammed with King Jack and got called by Ace King, and that was it. It just was not the most fulfilling experience for me.
You lasted longer than the Corona Poker Club, though. I heard you were out after one hand. You played one hand, and that was it.
Yeah, I think I played a couple, but yeah, it was it was top pair versus flush draw. Flush draw gets there, and I was just like, I'm not playing with these guys.
It's probably a bad sign if they keep sending you invites, Davis.
I forget who. Do you remember who busted you?
Yeah, it was the guy Joey, the guy who started it all.
He said he got his hands. He purposely got his hand in bad so he could potentially suck out on you.
And he did, and I was I'm not playing $100 sit and goes with these fish. I'm not doing that with my quarantine time.
I am like I think I've played maybe like 10 hands of poker in my life, and I think I lasted longer than Davis did last week.
I mean, it would not. I think I won one hand, which was I just bluffed, and I think I got one hand to showdown the whole time. I only played for like an hour and a half.
But maybe. Like I understood afterward, like because Chris Prince, aka Beers Makers fans, was in the who kept on calling him Beers Makers fans. Was that you, Peter?
You were giving me shit for how over the years I've gotten, crap. I've messed up Jamino, Beers Makers Man. I don't know. These guys and their cute handles.
But like we went up like 1-on-1 and I beat him, and like that's all I needed. That was like the thing that I had missed as far as like competitiveness.
But did you get his bounty then?
No, I didn't knock him out, but it was a big hand at the beginning. So just the fact that I won a hand was
Kitchen definitely like limped in with like Jack 4 off from under the gun +2, like just like complete like horrible.
All right, Davis, we get it. You know poker lingo. Jeez.
Well, in Beer's defense, he was pretty busy doing absolutely nothing on the live stream.
We had some guy, whoever knocked me out, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to actually have to give fitness tips with like 1,600 people in this tournament. I go to this guy's Twitter page, and he's like following 30 people, including us. And he's like Swolecast tweets in the past. So, buddy, if you're out there,
tips for sure.
if you're out there, I still need to send you some fitness tips.
Is this going to be like a Google Doc, bullet points? Are we going Silva asterisks? Like, give us how are these formatted?
It might be live video. This is something like I'm going to customize it however this guy wants it. Also, while we're talking about this, I tweeted about this, but I went to Disney World right before the whole Corona craze.
I would have lost so much money on thinking you were just a flu bro. I would have bet that to like minus 300, I think.
Yeah, I know it's crazy. I do my own research. But I'm not like Davis and just tell whoever is in the chat. So anyways, I go to Disney and first 10 minutes in the park, Hollywood Studios. I'm walking with my family, and this guy comes up and goes, "Are you Soccer Dave?" And I was
this is not true.
Things that didn't happen for
things
500.
that did. There's no way.
I swear. And I'm like, yes, I am Soccer Dave. Like, I've always wanted this to happen. I used to wear a Soccer Dave, like the old FanDuel shirt with Soccer Dave on the back. I used to wear that to Walmart, hoping that someone recognized me, and no one ever did.
What Dave's not saying, it was actually an employee at the park, and they said one of your children got lost, isn't it, at the front?
He called me Soccer Dave, and my wife is just like looking like, is this real right now? And he's like, let's take a picture. And he's from Kansas City. I'm like, make sure you tag me on Twitter. And he never tagged me on Twitter.
You were too thirsty. He could tell.
So all you have is my word for it. So really nice guy from Kansas City. If you are out there, please send me that picture.
Otherwise, we're not going to believe him.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I don't blame you guys.
Yeah, just a nice photo of a couple just a flu bros at Disneyland during the midst of a pandemic.
This was like right before everything kind of blew up. Like I knew we were going, and I knew that it was going to get.
You were still at Disney after the Gobert night, right? So that happened on a Thursday night. You were still there on Friday, right?
I'm not at this point. All my dates are like messing up with me. But it was like the Thursday when everyone just started going crazy, like with all the Italy stuff. That's when we flew back that morning. So people were definitely aware. I feel like, but like at Disney, there were like stations, like a few sanitizer stations set up, and they're all out.
I'm glad. I'm glad
of hand sanitizer. Like it was, but we had already, like I already told my parents, like before we went, I was like, we're not going to be seeing you for 14 days after we get back. But I'm healthy. I'm in shape. I had a normal exercise routine going on at the time. I was in shape.
That's when I shut it down. I have not left my house to do anything other than walk the dog since the Gobert night.
Yeah.
Davis is like just very, very pessimistic about everything. It's really a downer to go into our chat and just.
Oh yeah. Well, it just depends on time of the day and the recent tweet or message.
It just depends. It depends on if I'm buying what Wiggins is selling or not. If Wiggins is able to convince me for the day to be optimistic, I'll be optimistic. If I'm not buying whatever Wiggins says that day, then we're staying on pessimistic. It's really a lot for him to take on.
You know how on the Swolecast football edition we would make lineup or we would talk about something and he'd be like, "No, we're not. I'm not playing that guy." And then he would eventually play that person because he said he was tailing like someone sharp. That's how he's feeling about life these days. Like his feeling on life is based on whatever sharp person he talked to last.
Yeah, if you're an average intelligence person like myself, it makes a lot more sense to listen to what smart people do as opposed to try and figure it out yourself, which is a problem that we have in America, which is we have a lot of stupid to average intelligence people who are not listening to more intelligent people who like understand math and science. And that's been a big issue.
Yeah.
Well, the killer is that one of the most intelligent people he knows is just like a doomsday prepper and Dink. So that really harshes the mellow quite a bit.
Calling Dink a doomsday prepper is probably on my bucket list of things I wanted to do. Because before this, he would never fit in with a Doomsday Prepper group. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to eSports.
You got 3 eSports grinders with you right here.
Here's the thing.
Hell yeah.
When I was talking, when I previously was talking to Cal and Cam, and I had already talked to Tuttle, and Tuttle's like, I'm gonna be on the Swolecast for stuff, but I don't want to do like niche stuff. And then they're like, can we find someone who knows about like esports as like the 4th person if we're doing something esports related? I'm like, yeah, sure. Well, then the next day, Tuttle goes and like crushes all the esports. I didn't like. You guys are just neck deep into it. Peter,
you saw that? How did you see that? I didn't send you.
Everyone was like, people were telling me.
Oh, okay,
like Tuttle crushed it.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Dave was trying to assemble an esports team for Swolecast, and it was under his nose the whole time.
The whole time. So here, and when I was talking to Davis and Peter about like this, I was just like, I've never felt more like a boomer than trying to figure out esports, because I'm like, all right, so you guys like play esports, and they're like, no, and I'm like, but you know like how to play, and they're like, no, and I'm like, but you, and then they're
by the way, I think I get sort of the central conceits of League of Legends now. Like I think I
Let's put this to the test.
Yeah, I think we should try it, because I want to see if this is true or not. But I think I kind of
get the fact though that you are playing League of Legends without knowing how the game works and saying that that's not even like, it's not even necessary. It just blows my mind because of like, I don't know.
Okay, have you watched a stream, David?
It's pretty good.
It's fun, but if you want to feel old, watch a stream and try to figure out who the hell gets the kill without reading any of the like pop-ups that say X and X kill slave.
It's crazy, and it's even better in LCK, LPL when it's all Chinese characters or Korean characters, and you're just like, I don't know what, you're looking for the color. Good. You're looking for it because they're red or they're blue, but it's confusing because the teams switch red or blue in the best of 3 matches. So it's a whole experience. It's
all right. So
hey God, I just want to say the way I sweat League of Legends, you could have the entire gameplay be pixelated and it wouldn't matter because I'm just looking at the towers, the objectives, and the kills. It's just zeros and ones in the matrix. I'm just hoping they tick up. Whatever's happening in the middle of the screen, it's like, well, who cares?
That's what I end up doing. I sit there, try to watch the fight, and then I'm like, all right, screw this. Then I start looking up at the kills and then go to the bottom to see who actually got the kill. But my kids are mad because the LPL can leak over into the next morning, because it starts at like 1 a.m. Central Time.
Yeah.
And so yesterday, I think a game started at 6 or 7. And they usually are allowed to watch like cartoons in the morning or whatever. And I'm sitting there watching the Chinese stream.
We're watching Suning versus Invictus Gaming, and you just gotta live with it.
Yeah. And I'm like, all right, guys, we're learning Chinese.
Peter, do you have a favorite team?
So I would say you got to go with the an LPL team because they're just
the best.
They're the higher scoring teams. Let's see. My favorite team is probably, I don't know. I like Fnatic.
What a weak selection, dude.
No, who do you like, bro?
Suning is my team.
Suning shits the bed every other game.
My kids love Suning because the little logo is awesome. Yeah. I was pissed today because Royal Never Give Up. I had them as my secondary stack, and they win 2-0, which you're like, all right, we're in good shape. But they only got 10 kills in their second win. Who does that in the LPL? I think that's the lowest kill total I've ever seen on a winning team.
Dave, so next, ask us questions you have because we want you to learn. We want you to be on our level.
Yeah, explain it to me like I'm 5. As far as how could you? We probably need just like an evergreen video that we produce with some nice graphics on like. Explain to someone who is familiar with like fantasy football, like how the two could correlate. Like, is there like a quarterback?
So there are positions. There are 5 positions for every team. There's a top laner. There's a jungler. There is a mid laner. There's the attack damage carry, and there is the support. And then in the DK game, you select one of each of those positions, as well as a captain and as well as a team. I would say that the mid laners and the attack damage carries, they are like the Peter, would you say it's more analogous to a quarterback or a running back? They are the primary fantasy point scorers, and then the support is correlated with the ADC the way that a wide receiver would be with a quarterback.
Yes, exactly. The support is the quarterback, the ADC is the receiver.
So you think the support has like the more consistent floor, the ADC has the spikes of 130 points or whatever. Yeah, I think that's
I'm seeing
right.
some facial expressions from Peter, and this is what I'm here. This is why I'm here.
Well,
to help mediate this.
I can't really throw stones for glass houses because I said Fnatic was an LPL team after saying I like LPL teams.
Yeah, when they are in the European League.
The LEC, my gosh.
I'm just gonna take that L. I'm just gonna hang it here. But if you guys want to check the receipts, I still am the 44th/45th ranked eSports DFS player in the world, so you can politely suck it. I would say, Dave, the one thing that I think people who haven't played before, when they're making lineups, there's the temptation to, you're wanting to put a couple guys from this team, you want the best player on this team, blah, blah, blah. But the way the scoring works is it's so tilted toward whatever teams win, and the rising tide lifts all boats. So if a team wins,
you should explain why that is, because it's not intuitive at first.
I was literally just starting to. Go ahead, Davis. Explain why the scoring snowballs.
First of all, I don't get that part 100%. So I was kind of hoping that you would do it.
I was well on my way. Anyways, Dave, the scoring snowballs, and there's in the LPL too. They're 3-game series, and if the team sweeps 2-0, the entire team, each player on the team gets a 20-point bonus for not having to go to that third game. So if you have 4 guys, the max from one team in your lineup, and say one of them in the captain slot, that's 95 points right there that you just get for them crushing the other team. So it's very heavily skewed toward the winning teams and the teams that dominate.
But it goes even further than that, because inside of each individual match, when you get a lead in gold and in objectives, so like if you get more turrets, if you get the Rift Herald, there's a Baron as well, that like the more of these that you accomplish, the stronger your individual character gets, and it's easier for you to get kills. So like if one team has 5,000 more gold and they've accomplished more objectives, and this could be wrong to minor degrees, right? Because I don't understand 100%.
Davis, this is the Swolecast. People understand,
so they're ready for it. Yeah. So essentially, your character gets more powerful in game, and it's easier to rack up kills. And also very similar to football, teams play at different paces. There are some teams that try and play really slow. They try and avoid fights in the beginning and the middle of the game, and just like it's called like farming, where they're just trying to get as many gold and objectives as possible. So they might win a match with 5 to 8 kills or something, but they're able to, because it's essentially Tuttle, it's like a capture the flag game, right?
Capture the flag?
Yeah, you want to destroy the other team's base, right?
Yeah.
So you can win the game without an excess amount of kills.
Right, if the other team's super passive, yeah.
So some teams play like that, and those are really bad matches for fantasy because they don't offer kills or assists. And that is like that. I would think that part is still like, people will still, like, if Dignitas or whatever, if they're like minus 300 favorites, people will still stack that team, even though they literally like do not try and score fantasy points.
Right, and I think that's probably where the edge is left. I mean, when everybody started learning the initial edge, and there's probably still some edge at the lower levels in League of Legends, is basically just roster construction. From a roster construction standpoint, it's most similar to baseball, because you basically just want to stack teams, and that's all you have to do for League of Legends, essentially. And so at the lower levels, I think there's still an edge there with just having correct roster construction is going to put you ahead of the guys you were playing against at lower buy-in levels. But yeah, that's still on the higher buy-in levels. I don't think everybody's really caught up to the fact that there are going to be bloodier games or games that are faster pace with more kills in it, because you'll see it a lot with these LPL, LCK mixed slates, where Peter already mentioned the LPL.
Yeah, people
slates.
will still take the LCK teams,
Right.
but there are really only two LCK teams that get in bloody games, and that is going to be Gen G, and people play the T1 guys, especially because Faker, I believe, is like he's like
that's Derrick
Yeah,
Henry. That's Derrick Henry.
Henry of League of Legends also just signed like a $6 million contract.
Yeah,
an
he's
ice
like
cream sponsorship. I mean,
he's like the GOAT of League of Legends, but like even in good games for him, he's getting like 75, 80, whereas like random 80 carries or mids from LPL teams are like routinely getting 100. And the other LCK team is Gen G. But those teams do not confirm their starting lineups, and
it's a gamble.
You can just get hit, and the 80 carries and the mid laners do not sub that much, but the top laners, the junglers and the supports, they'll just they can get subbed in between individual maps as well, which is
I haven't seen that.
thing.
Can they do that in the Chinese league? I haven't seen any Chinese league like mid-game subs, but it happens a lot in the LCK.
Well, I think the Chinese teams only have 7 guys, most of them. Some of them only 6. Whereas the LCKs will have pretty much backups for every position.
And because they sub based, and this is still something I don't know enough about, like the champions. So the characters that you can play, these players can play, are called champions. I need some
champion analysis from Peter Overzet, because this is actually the whole meta level of this is that the players are also doing a draft. So they draft champions, where not only do you draft characters, but it would be like, you could, like, David, if you and I did a fantasy draft and I was like, no one can draft Cam Newton. Cam Newton is off the board. No one can use this character.
We should back up. We should say a good player that's going to actually get fantasy points.
Oh, wow.
Guess so like Derek, so you could be he could be like Kitchen. You're not allowed to draft Derrick Henry, because
which would probably save him from himself. I think. Kitchen, is he your 101? Is Derrick Henry your 101 this year?
He's not, but he is someone who I will continue to just rub into Davis's face.
Yeah, the Titans-Chiefs game was really good. I really enjoyed that one.
All right, Davis, we understand. It's exactly how I predicted it would happen, where Derrick Henry would be a thing until one game where he's not, and Davis is just going to take that. And
I made a bunch of money, and I printed, and that's all that we need. That's just all that needs to be said.
Well, hopefully it made up for all those times that you faded Derrick Henry.
It did. It was that championship weekend slate was my most profitable slate of football in 2019.
I did want to circle back for people who are starting to play the thing about the starting lineups with the LPL and LCK. There's this guy on Twitter named Kenzie, who's the Adam Schefter of eSports, and he posts the LPL starting lineups like 18 hours in advance, so that's really nice. And then he'll also post the LCK ones, but like 20 minutes in advance and often after lock.
So you got to stay up, and I stayed up to, because a couple times like T1 or Gen G has been the first match of the slate, and if you stay up until 1 o'clock in the morning, you can get the confirmation and grind out that informational edge.
I'm so confused right now, but it's okay. We got lots of time to learn it. I will say I did not think that Davis would be the one that would be explaining it the best out of you three.
But I want Overzet's one.
I probably have the most time to watch these matches, though.
Yeah.
I want Overzet's #1 overall champion draft pick.
It's only one option.
I don't even know any of the champion names personally.
There are two.
Khaleesa.
No. Sienna is the one that she gets banned in most of them, but the AD carry or the mid laner tries to get her most of the time, and she just is sick.
I just cheer for all the animal ones because they look the coolest.
The other one that the announcers say is really good, because I don't know, I've never played the game, is Aphelios.
Yeah, I mean,
would like to give a shout out, because I have not watched one stream. I have not played in one esports contest, but I have seen the behind the scenes on all the stuff going on at RotoGrinders. And, obviously people want to play stuff. Like I didn't expect all the contests to be getting like this big, but they are. And like, shout out to Nicole Valencia at RG. Yeah.
There was 20K to first Liga MX contest. Like, you didn't think we were going to get 100K to first League of Legends?
No, I didn't. That's how much
You
of
also
a
didn't
boomer
think-
that I am.
I guess people bet on anything.
Should I get a DK Swolecast listener league going for some of the bigger esports slates? Get everybody in the mix. I'd love to see Kitchen's cash game esports lineup.
Should we well, the LPL is not playing this morning, Friday or Saturday, April 4th, because they're taking the day off to honor all those who have lost their lives due to COVID-19.
Hey Davis, check this out. The J Slice in the chat. He's siding with me here, Kalisto over Senna, especially after the recent patches, which I didn't get to, which is why I said Kalisto, because of the patches, dude.
Yep. Davis clearly didn't take into account the recent patch update.
I read an eSport tout saying that this new patch has made the matches way closer, like that some of these like massive favorites, or some of the coin flip games are more coin flippy than in the past. I don't know if that's true or not, but
how many teams play in a slate, like a big slate? How many teams
slate
play?
is like six games.
Six
is typically
games.
The biggest.
Yeah.
So 12 teams. And then like, how do you mass enter with like different stacks, Tuttle? Is it like, you talked about baseball. So is it like, baseball where you have 2 mini stacks, or like 1 stack plus complementary players? Is that how it is with like, if you're using lineup HQ?
Probably like a 3-3 or 3-4 is the most typical lineup construction. But you can also throw out, if like your mini stack idea, you could also stack a team of 4 and then just fill in with 3 randoms. Typically the team spot, especially on LPL, LCK slates, we already talked about the differences in scoring in terms of killing, but the team slots can still score pretty much at the same level in LCK as LPL because the objectives are the same. So typically if I'm looking to find value at the team slot, it will be just picking an LCK team. That's relatively cheap and get points that way. But yeah, in terms of stacking, like you said, it's 4-3, 3-3 are the most commons, but you can do mini stacks off that as well, where it's like a 4-1-1 type of thing.
So another thing we should talk about is that like the chalk lineup construction in like single entry contests and stuff is just because it's easier, is people use the support in captains. So like the guy for G2 Mix, he's their support. He's always underpriced. He crushes, right? So he just is always a super common captain. Effort for T1, super common captain. I forget the Vulcan for Cloud9. He is often in the American slates. He's owned in captains.
You're just listing the names of the 4 people you know at this point, Davis.
No, dude, test me, bro. Test me on the G2 starting lineup right now.
Why? Because you haven't pulled up in front of you?
No, I don't. But so I think that something I've been trying to do more in single entry and 3 max is pick an underdog, between plus 200, plus 400, and just be like, okay, they win often enough in this match for their mid laner or their AD carry to be a good captain, because those, like, an underdog AD carry is going to be priced similarly to like a super big favorite support, and the upside with the mid-tier AD carries is just like, they can get 150 points, right? And the supports, even in the good matches, are not going to do that well. So that's been a roster construction thing I've been trying to do.
Yeah, the thing is they're often priced up accordingly. So if you are trying to jam in 2 ADCs into your lineup, you're going to have to get creative at the other.
You have to play an underdog. You have to stack a team that has like an average roster cost of 6,000 or something.
Yeah, Dave, how peaked would you say your interests are now in playing a little League of Legends? Because I could tell you're just, I wouldn't be surprised if you've already regged. Yeah.
Regged.
I don't know. I don't know if you guys, I like fell asleep during one point of that combo. I think you guys, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, because my esports experience is Halo back in like 2002 to 2000 or 2001 till 2007 or 2008. And then like Clash of Clans, where I spent like $700 in upgrades and got highly
Dude,
addicted.
are we doing Clash of Clans chat right now? I've been waiting for the Swolecast to talk about Clash of Clans for years.
I got highly addicted to where I had to one day just delete it and be like cold turkey, and I haven't
Wipe
gone
my
back.
hands. Yeah.
It's like
And
the
there was
article.
Yeah.
It was like the article that came out about how Clash of Clans almost took down the Kansas City Royals.
The Royals, yeah.
Clash of Clans almost took down Fantasy Insiders before it eventually got taken down.
Before just like life took Fantasy Insiders down.
I was thinking about it was actually RIP Fantasy Insiders, but I was thinking about Draft Cheat last night about coming up with just an amazing idea, promoting it, having it take off,
and then just losing money on it.
Losing money out of it. And it's like that was Fantasy Insiders. So all right, yeah, bye. All right. I don't even think we have time to talk about free agency.
Why not?
Well,
I mean, are we done talking about League of Legends?
Well, we're never done.
I mean,
we haven't even mentioned CS:GO yet, which is, I think, probably
Davis,
it's a trash product, man.
It's the worst product of all time.
It is so bad. I don't know. Rocket League's pretty terrible too.
Drewby, in the big $10 GPP had 7 of the top 10 spots yesterday, and then he won it again the next day.
Oh, we know he won't stop replying with the screenshot to everybody.
It's very toxic. It's very toxic of him.
Yeah, Drewby is so tilted by this toxic bit, and now we have to jam it down his throat even more.
If he's tilted by the toxic bit, like imagine having Davis like in like company chats,
tough scenes
all the time. Tough, really, really tough scene. But Davis, let's not like just waste all of our bullets on the first show. We want to do more of these shows.
People in the chat are being toxic, saying that I mispronounced the G2 support's name, and just like for all the people who are being toxic about my League of Legends pronunciations, keep in mind that a month ago I did not know any of this existed. So I'm doing my best.
And what I would say to the people in the chat who are saying like, oh, you guys are getting things wrong. Look, like we could talk high level and have it go over 90% of our audience's head. We are trying to be the voice of the people for the large portion of people that aren't familiar. We are translating for them. So just trust me. We know what we're talking about.
You guys got like, we need to do some more training tips, because I feel like you guys just like kind of took off and you just left me back. You just left me behind.
You gotta start playing.
Yeah.
When you say playing, like not the game, you mean like watching, like just
like Jordan, G2 and Matt are playing right now.
Yeah, I'm watching them.
From he sits next to me in the office, and he streams League of Legends all day long. And I just would call him a nerd like every day. Like he did that, where it became like commonplace.
Yeah, joke's on you, bro.
Was he betting on it, or he's just interested?
He just loved League of Legends. He was like, I guess he played at one point.
I get it. I mean, I watch the replays back every day.
You don't get it. You don't get it.
Do you play at all?
You've never played League of Legends, Peter.
Oh, I think it would be helpful to actually play.
Maybe we need to get.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how could you do fantasy League of Legends without knowing how League of Legends works?
Dave, have you ever played football at a high level? Yeah.
NFL, you understand the concept of what's happening. Like you understand the basics because you grew up with the sport. It's like someone who
are you implying that I did not grow up with Mickey's the support for G2?
If anyone did,
dude,
it was you.
I literally have a Vulcan C9 jersey in my closet.
I like deep within my DNA is embedded this inherent knowledge of how you defend the mid lane, Kitchen. It's just something that I was born with, and some people have it and some people don't.
I guess. All right. Well, let's. I wanted to get one NFL take from Davis. Sammy Watkins.
Oh.
He was re-signed.
How mad is Davis right now?
Re-signed today.
No, so first of all, I mean, obviously this, like the fact that he re-signed is just going to cost me so much money. Assuming we have a 2020 NFL season, like, I'm going to be all in. I'll probably play him in cash, at least 1 week or whatever. I got to say for the Chiefs though, I've been waiting to get this take off in a public spot, but all the rookie wide receivers are just going to have a miserable time this year, assuming we have a season, because they're not going to have practice. They're not going to have time to practice, learn the playbook. The coaches aren't going to trust them. So I think that the really good teams who want to try and win a Super Bowl in a theoretical 2020 season that happens, I don't think those teams are going to be drafting rookie wide receivers. And I think that the teams that are going to do really well in 2020 are going to be the teams with a ton of continuity. Like, I think teams with new quarterbacks and new pass catchers are going to have a tough time.
You've been listening to Nashville local sports radio, haven't you?
I literally, you couldn't pay me.
With the
Dave, that might be a prop bet. Get me to listen to 1 hour of Nashville sports talk radio.
That was a talking point when they re-signed Tannehill to the deal they did, leaving behind Brady and whoever else, is that it's all about the continuity. So signing him, re-signing or franchise tagging Derrick Henry, keeping the wide receivers.
That was a lock. Yeah, I mean, I do officially, like, that is my official stance, is teams with multi-year continuity are going to have a huge edge. I think the Buccaneers are going to have a really hard time with a new quarterback. I think the Chargers are going to have a tough time. The Colts, the Bengals, a lot of these teams, I just think it's just going to be too much for them to do, to integrate the new quarterbacks.
Yeah. But you like Tannehill signing though, right?
I mean, I think that the move that these teams should be doing if they wanted to win would be to try and sign Cam and just gamble that he's healthy. You're not going to win a Super Bowl with Ryan Tannehill. If Cam is healthy, you could win. I mean,
they were 1 game away last year, bro.
Yeah, it was really close. QB. They were almost there. It was really close.
They had like a 10-point lead at one point.
I would say Tannehill has more grit than Newton and more.
You know what? I do agree with that take, Tuttle. He definitely is grittier.
What are the odds? What's the most likely landing spot for Cam right now?
No team.
Cam and Jameis. Like, people are talking about Jameis landing in like Pittsburgh.
Jameis' most recent draft pick in our Dynasty League, Davis. Yeah, talk through your Jameis logic there.
Well, I now am shifting towards trying to draft this team like there's just not going to be a 2020 season. I think I've decided.
That's your strategy?
Davis, if that happens, we're all screwed. If that happens, you should be doing more than just.
You won't have any money to play Dynasty with if that's what happens.
You should just be like shorting if we don't have an NFL season this year, then it's like RIP society.
It's like Davis is buying stock in like the cemetery where he's going to get buried. It's like that's going to come in real handy.
Could we do the stock touting portion of this show? I think that would be a really good addition.
Oh, we could.
Yeah, like your buddy Portnoy.
Oh, please don't ever say that name on this show ever again.
Did Boeing ever get back up? Didn't he burn? 450 grand real quick yesterday.
Dude, you guys should definitely invest in Zoom or Slack. I'm telling you, video conferencing apps are going berserk right now. Get in on the ground floor.
Slack is the only thing in my Robinhood that's evergreen. Everything, every day I log in and everything's red, and then Slack will just have these little games that keep me thinking. I'm keeping my head in the game.
Davis is the guy that was really high on Zoom when this started, except he bought Zoom Technologies, which is
I bought the right Zoom.
Oh, he had the wrong Zoom.
I bought the correct Zoom at $97.
That's the equivalent of back when people were drafting like the wrong Adrian Peterson or the wrong David Johnson.
The wrong Adrian Peterson is like a fantasy football legend. He is. It's the best.
That was the thing. Like with auction drafts, you would put the wrong one up for bid and watch people to see if they bid on it, taking up a roster spot. That's when that was probably the most toxic play.
Yeah,
man, can we get auction drafts? Tough scene. All right.
I mean, can we just end it with this? How much does FanDuel hate themselves for bailing on the draft product right now? They would be the biggest game in town.
Well, not
they
if
just get restarted.
Well, not if people don't think the 2020 season's going to happen.
Buddy, people are still doing fantasy baseball drafts thinking the 2020 baseball season is going to happen.
Football is happening. Football is like the rallying cry for the country, for the world.
The NFL is like the speed bus for the United States of America, except instead of having to go 55 miles per hour, if the NFL season doesn't happen, the country's just imploding.
Listen, you've got a whole entire region of the country, the Southeastern Conference region, that if you tell them that there's not going to be any football unless they stay in the house, they are going to be staying
They haven't though. It's like the least staying inside part of the entire country.
The funniest, like most useless draft thing that I was a part of was Ben Gretsch rolling out the Omni Fantasy.
The Omni
for all the
Fantasy.
sports leagues. And we drafted, tennis, WNBA. We do like this 2-week-long slow draft, and then every single sporting event is canceled.
glad I waited on my Euro 2020 team.
Ben spent like 4 sleepless weeks just promoting this product.
A product where you and literally like the only sports that was not included were eSports.
I could have been drafting the Mad Lions. Oh my god.
Dude, Mad Lions are going crazy.
Mad Lions are going to take game 1 from G2 here.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I can't. We got to cut it off now. All right, thanks everyone. I would say we get better, but I'm not sure. If you are interested in esports, though, Lineup HQ, we've got it. Every day, whenever new esports contests, like we were pivoting to whatever is the latest stuff. Shout out to Nicole Valencia for all the stuff, because people think it's easy, like for the optimizers and stuff. It's not, and she's done a great job with Lineup HQ. We've got Jimino, yes.
Stevie is killing it.
Yeah, Jimino, Stevie. So shout out to all those guys. You can also, if you're an existing sub, you can unpause your sub, or you can just. They're pretty sweet RotoGrinders shirts that I helped design with Alex Blundell. We'll try to ship one out to you guys this week. But you can either start.
You couldn't even get through that promise with a straight face. No. We'll try this week.
Where's the supply chain at with Kitchen sending out shirts these days? Like what's the average time frame we think from conception to delivery?
It's not Kitchen's job duty anymore.
That was like the thing, but I have passed on the spirit of the delayed shipment to our office. So anyways, if you want that limited edition shirts, American Apparel shirts, nice, soft, fits your dad bod the right way, just either sign up for a month or unpause your subscription for a month and get in the esports world.
You should do a photo advertising it in the kind of aesthetic that American Apparel will normally advertise their clothing. I'm thinking you and some high white tube socks, some whitey tighties with like a nice color background, and then the new RG shirt. I think it would help.
Kitchen, will you send me the graphic of the picture of you advertising yourself as a semi-pro DFS player that used to be your Twitter background?
Yeah, I will. That was like a joke, but it turned into reality. So I'm going to look at being a dad influencer. I think there's like a strong market, like an opportunity.
Yeah. No, I mean, you can definitely make like $10,000 a year just like posting cute pictures of your kids on Instagram and being like they grow up so fast.
Not even the kids. It's me. It'd be about me, like tips to other dads.
Screw the kids. It's about me, David.
I gotta say, nothing makes me feel more boomer than Instagram. I just like I don't get it.
Yeah. All right. Well, Davis, can you unblock me from Instagram?
Never. I don't even have it on my phone.
All right. Then I won't worry about it. Okay, that will do it for the Swolecast. We're going to be setting up our own YouTube feed, own Twitter feed, and once it gets unsuspended, and also new podcast feed. So we're here because We don't have anything better to do, and neither do you. That's our motto for the Swolecast. So, any closing thoughts, guys?
Send me a head-to-head.
I think I'm 2-0 against Overzet.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually,
Easy
you're right.
money.
I got Overzet. I got Overzet in A-League soccer and in our first slate of LOL that we played against each other.
Yeah, Mister. I'm hoping Belarusian soccer comes to the DK lobby here soon.
I mean, if it does,
Why hasn't it?
Because Opta does not
they don't
have
stats for it.
they don't have their motion tracking stuff set up in these fields that they're playing in Belarus. Like they got to move cows out of the way to get the game started.
All right. Is that your last thought?
All right,
Davis?
I want to end the show. I want to end the show on this note. There were Swedish Allenskeban, which is their top tier league. There were friendlies scheduled that had to be canceled because gamblers were reaching out to the players and the coaches on Twitter asking for like starting lineups and stuff, and the league just shut it down.
Peter has been doing that.
Yeah, who was the guy you got?
He's the Adam Schefter of the LCK.
Stixay, man. His mom was faving my tweets too, which was very reminiscent to Patrick Laird's mom favoriting some of my tweets as well. Actually, we should, before we get out of here, we should say we had a nice little check-in with Laird the other day. He's been working out in his parents' home gym. He actually reached out to us unprompted to see how we were doing, all the people who think we're bothering Laird. That's where we're at.
It was like that was literally the highlight of my quarantine. Is like I check my phone and I get like first of all I had to text you on your Android phone.
Check your burner.
That I've been having this like half an hour long discussion with Laird, and then I'm like, hey dude, go turn on your burners because Laird's texting us.
Wait, you don't use that awesome new phone you got? Overzet?
I've got so many phones. I use that. I use the LG dual screen as a timer stopwatch sometimes.
We are never getting sponsored on this show. All right, well, that will do it. We'll see you next time here on the Swolecast off-season edition.